Okay guys, let's talk through some acceptable designs. So here's some from the years past. Some of these are really good, like this one here. This one's a little bit bigger than what y'all are working on right now. We do different sizes, different years. You can kind of see compared to my hand, the size of this one. I don't have a foam plate of this one, the student took it, but you can see how that looks there. They were thinking through where their black's going to be and where their white is going to be. That's important, and they did a good job of that. Same here, they're thinking through what's going to be in black and what's going to be in white. They're gonna have these stripes here in the background of this. And then we're copying this, and you can see that I flipped it. So I scanned it on the computer and we flipped it so that it'll be in the other direction. They wanted to keep it in this orientation. So when we stamp it, it'll be flipped. If you want to do that, we can scan yours too, and we can flip it, especially if you have words. So if you have words on yours, it's very important that we don't trace it like this. We need to trace it in reverse. So we need to scan this, flip it, and we need to trace it in reverse. Let me show you what happens if you don't do that. If you don't do that, this student here ignored that. And now when they printed it, everything's in reverse. It was a cool design. They spent some time on it, but they didn't hear me say that you got to flip your words, because when you stamp it, it's going to flip it. So we've got to flip your letters. Let's look at some more acceptable designs that are maybe a little bit more realistic. This one here was a skull with a plant, and this is the right size that y'all are going to be creating too. This is done with a foam plate, just like y'all. We'll also be able to have some experience with lino prints and maybe even woodblock prints. Let's look at some unacceptable designs. So this one here wasn't terrible, but it doesn't look like an original idea because I've seen this before, and it's very simplified. There's not a lot going on. Same with this one. It was okay. I mean, it's an original idea, I think, but it's maybe a little too simple. And this is what it looks like when it's printed. It's just a little bit boring. But this one, however, was a lot less boring. It's also just one thing, but they added just a little bit of hatching in there. It would have been nice to see maybe some lines in the background, but once it's printed, which in reverse looks kind of funny. So consider that whenever it's in reverse, sometimes even if it's a picture, it looks a little different. But this one is a pretty cool design. This would be acceptable for design. This one here, this student tried this design on a lino cut, on a foam block, and it was too detailed. These lines here were too close together, and they got all blurred, and this eye was just one big smudge with the hair, and it was all smudged up here. This down here would work. The spider would work, the mouth would work, the nose would work, this here, but where we got into the hair and the eyes and the hair here, it got all smudged together, so that did not work. They probably could have made this work if they would have simplified that section. Let's look at some other student designs that are unique, original. So here's one. Okay, unique, original. They have some ideas going on. Cool. Let's look at some others. This is all the same student, so it's all on the same page, but there's some unique ideas. Kind of interesting, right? It'll make a good print. Here's a really good one from a different student. This is a really cool design. Very simple. It's going to work. So far, all of these have been just thinking about the line design and not the negative space. So do start thinking about the negative space, like this student here started thinking about, where do I want the black and where do I want the white to be? And this is what they came up with. This is their print. This one I think I've seen before, so I think it was ripped off. Don't do this if it's stolen off the internet, but this worked for this student. It looked good. This is an original design. I remember seeing her look up different elements. So she did look up references for a snake. She did look up references for different flowers, but the way she put them together is unique and original, and so that's okay. It's okay to look up a flower if you're weaving that flower inside a snake and you're designing it. And she wasn't looking up flower drawings. She was looking up actual pictures of flowers. Ideally, we're taking those pictures ourselves, but you know, you have an idea about a snake curled up. You probably don't have a picture of that. Here's one. It's a landscape. Very good line work, very nice design. And then here's mine. We'll see some videos about this and different ways that you can print on different color piece of papers. And here's a student one. That's acceptable. I think it's a very clean design. Here's another student one. And then they went and printed it in some different colors. Wind up looking pretty cool in that black on that purple. You don't always have to print on a solid piece of paper. We could print our print. This is 2 different stamps, my dragon, and then I also did this flower thing here. And I printed on an interesting background. Let me show you a couple more that are this size. I know I have some prints somewhere of this, but this is the student's design of a milk carton. And then somewhere I have the actual print. Here is this here. It's a very unique, original design. Nice work. So be thinking about that when you're creating yours. Are you creating an original design? Are you creating something unique? Is it your idea? And is it going to make a good stamp? Is it going to make a good print? Is the positive space and the negative space going to work? Okay, so be thinking about those things. Eventually we'll get to a bigger design onto a woodblock print. That's this size here. But for now, be thinking about your smaller print. Try to make something interesting and take your time. And then I'll show you how to trace it or transfer it actually onto a foam print in just a moment.